Alright, this is CiscoPacketTracerd4-311 in the Cisco Discovery Academy. We're in book 4, and the objective of this packet tracer is to investigate existing network devices. So we're going to use a router and switch commands to obtain information about existing network. So we have been given the task of documenting a large campus network. When you arrive at the site, you discover that the network administrator is not available, and he has the only keys to the wiring closets and cabinets containing the existing network documentation. Since information on the network is needed as soon as possible, you decide to discover as much information as possible using router and switch commands. So the first thing the packet tracer wants us to do is we're going to use the admin's PC to find out information about the company network over here. So I think it gives us the passwords. The telnet password is Cisco, and the privileged exec mode password is class. So we're going to go to our admin PC, and we're going to bring up a command prompt. So we will issue the IP config to find out the gateway of our network, and then we're going to telnet to that. So it's 10.1.10.1, and our password is Cisco, and so now we're in, and our enable password was class. Okay, so from here we're going to issue a few of these commands. So we can do a show running config. So let me get all the way through this, and then I'll go back up and take a look. So we can tell that we are in the main, and some service encryption passwords. We can see fast Ethernet with no IP address. We can see FA01 with an IP address of 10.1.100, and you can see the sub interfaces 10.10.20.30, physical interface, and we can see that EIGRP is configured, and that our V2Y has a password on it. So the next command we want to do is the show IP route command, and we're going to look at the information this is provided to us. So we can see that our EIGRP table is documented here with the D. We can know that by using our codes up here, and then we can also see what we're connected to directly by using the codes here. So we know that we're connected to all of these networks here. And the next command we'll issue is the show interface command, and we're going to take a look here, and this just gives us information about all the interfaces, whether it's up, administratively down, or any other information that we need to know about that. Then we want to issue the show IP interface brief, and so this just gives us a brief description of the interfaces, the IP addresses, the status of those, whether or not the link is okay, and so the next command we want to issue is the show version, and we can tell that we're on version 12.3, and just the rest of the information on the Cisco iOS that we need to document. And then we're going to issue the show CDP neighbors, and hopefully that is not turned off. Cap lock's on. And this will allow us to take a look at what's connected to us. So we can see the core is connected and the main distribution is connected via the sub interface. The core is an actual physical link, and that's FA01. So the next command the packet tracer wants us to issue is the show CDP neighbors detail. So this is just going to give us some more information about our neighbors. And a little bit about the version, so we can see that we're connected to the core, and we can tell that it's a switch. So the next thing it wants us to do is we're going to exit the telnet session, and we're going to discover the remaining devices. So PacketTracer is asking us to telnet to the IP address of the core. So we're going to telnet into 10.1.100.2, and it's asking for our password, and that's Cisco. And then we can do an enable, and our password was class. So what we want to do here, we can issue the show CDP neighbors command again, and we can tell all of the connections that are connected to the main access and the main. And then we're going to issue the show the CDP neighbors detail. So that'll give us some more detail about each one of the neighbors we're connected to. And then the other command was the show run. So we have no loopback or trunk mode interface. 01, fast Ethernet 01. Same thing with 2. We can see all of these sub interfaces on the switch. And we can see there's the security set up on the V2Y ports. So then the next thing we want to do is the show IP route. And it didn't like that. Of course, because it's a switch, so we can do a show interface, and we can take a look at all the interface information. In great detail. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is show IP interface brief. I didn't like that command either. Because it's a switch again, yeah. Okay, so now that we've going to look at all of the devices on the network and use the commands to take a look around them, gather information. Of course, if we were documenting this, you know, it would have gone much slower, just for the simplicity factor. Obviously, if I was documenting this, I would be drawing a map and documenting IP addresses on the interfaces and the interfaces. So, just to recap, we've used the show run for the show running config command, the show IP route on the routers, the show interfaces, and then obviously another one that was pretty valuable was the show CDP neighbors. So that gives all the information that we would need to discover, you know, all the devices in our network, and the IP addresses associated with them, as well as the sub interfaces. So that is the completion of this activity, and we can check the results, and of course we've completed everything that we need to do on that. So those are the commands that you would use to discover the inside of a network. If we had no physical access, obviously we had physical access, we could go in and take a look, you know, and get a better idea. But this gives a pretty good idea of what's in the network and the addresses in the networks assigned to each port. So this again was Packet Tracer D4-311 of the Cisco Academy Network.